Hello and welcome back to the X-Files Revisited. We are continuing on with season 6. We are now up to episode 16. This one is called Alpha. Ryan? Beta.
Yeah. Alpha. Yeah. If you remember anyone who listened or watched our last episode, I can't remember Jimmy being about this episode. Could not. All I remembered was a dog or dogs, potentially a wild dog or multiple wild dogs. I had no clue. All I know is I felt that there was some kind of Tesso dos Bichos vibe about it, but beyond that, I could remember nothing. And I'll say right up front, going into it, there's probably a very good reason why.
Okay.
You know, not to get there before we get there or anything, but on that note, let's play our usual game. I'm sure your favourite part of the show. Where do you think this lands on the IMDb ranking of all 217 episodes?
I have no idea. I feel like this season's episodes have all been ranked fairly high, and there's bound to be a low one at some points. I'm going to go 172.
This is 209. This is in the bottom 10. Yes.
Wow. The bottom 10.
So, yeah.
This must be awful.
Now, I'm not. I mean, as is often the case with these things, I'm not quite sure I'd go out on a limb and call this a bottom 10 episode. But maybe once we've discussed it, my opinions might change. Either way, I don't know. You know, they might go up, they might go down. I don't know, but
so this, in our parlance, is to be mixed in with Space, Dodcam, Fearful Symmetry. It's in that batch of
words. Yeah, it's like lowest of the low, apparently, according to your IMDb crowd at any rate. But yeah, let's do it. So we open up on a Chinese freighter, which is always a bad start, I feel.
Yes.
So once we hear those flutes, those panpipe kind of moods of Mark Snow infiltrated us, it's like we open up at sea on a ship. I instantly get dull as nuts vibes, you know, like Dodcam. It just, what was the other one? Oh, there was another one where there's on a bit something on a ship, and it was just Anyway, it's usually a pretty dull setting when it comes to the X-Files, but we're on a Chinese freighter, and we have seemingly the dumbest crew members ever.
Oh my god!
So these guys, they're like, one of them leads the other one to this big cage thing, and he says, "Oh, there's a thing in there. There's something in there, and it nearly went for me." So the obvious thing to do, if that has happened, is to go stick in your head right near the big hole where it is, and then the even more obvious thing to do in that situation, when you can't quite see what's going on in there, is to open the cage and have a look.
Well, let's look at the rationale for this. So they're digging in the hole. Whatever animal's there starts like battering the door, like proper, giving it good thuds, and then it goes quiet. And they're like, maybe we killed it. How? With an icy stare. And it's like, so obviously there's a terrible animal in there that's trying to attack us. It's went quiet. Let's look inside. Let's stick our hands inside.
even if you provoked the beast enough to make it ram its head into the door to the point of hurting itself, what business is it of yours? What is it to you? Because as far as anybody else is concerned, you weren't there. It's like this is just an animal that kind of had a mishap, and that's that. It got wound up in the cage, did itself a mischief. It's like the very notion that you would care enough to open it, just to check, just to make sure. Absolutely ridiculous.
And the thing is
ridiculous.
As viewers, we haven't switched off yet. We're very attentive. So to have something as egregious as this right at the start instantly puts you in the back foot. You know, these guys deserve what they get.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you can have something like this, like 2/3 of the way into an episode, and if the episode up to that point has been just like a nail biter, a really good one, it'll be one of them moments where you kind of roll your eyes at and you'll moan about it a little bit, but then you'll move on. But this is like opening scene. This is okay, right? You're not even trying right from the offset, so that doesn't bode well generally. So yeah, they open the box, and they shouldn't, obviously, and they are found later. So the ship comes into port in America, and basically, there's a load of police on the, looking around and stuff. But basically, these guys have gone missing. So, the ship comes into port, but they're 2 crew members down. So that's why the police are there. They're looking around. And then there's this animal expert guy who kind of rocks up because he's got interest in something that's in one of the cages. And when they open the cage to check on it, it's not there. But the 2 men are their dead bodies. So, yeah.
So the thing is, I think the big mystery here is that we've seen the animal. They've ended up in the box, and the box is securely locked. And we're to be interested.
Yeah. It's like, is there even any intrigue at this point? It's like, okay,
No.
cool. So Mulder is back home in his office, putting little things up on his board. He fills Scully in on the case, such as it is, of the 2 men that were found dead inside the locked cage, where a dog should be. And Mulder makes a little joke where he says "bad dog," which is mildly amusing. But yeah, it's good to see Mulder back in his office, on his home turf, putting things back together. He's like, he's putting little things up on his board that obviously would have been the kind of thing that Spender would have torn off and just maybe replaced with a picture of Mulder's head on a dartboard or something. But yeah.
A poster that says "I don't want to believe."
I never believed. Yeah. Okay. So we go to the ship. No, not to the ship just yet. Sorry. We go to what looks like a security guard. And he's just ambling about, and like there's a shadow. he sees a shadow out in his backyard of what looks like a big ass wolf. So again, Mr. Sensible, with his trusty torch, goes over there and is like, "Shoo, go away, go on, jog on." As you do. I mean, I'm not a brave enough man, to be honest, to do that, even when I think it's just a dog. If I see the shadow of a dog that looks pretty big and there's no lead on it, that thing's just wandering about by itself, I'm like, I think I'll probably just call the pound to come and pick this thing up, because
See, I'd react
Yeah.
differently. I'd see that, realise it's on the other side of the fence, and go, huh, that's somebody else's problem, that is, and just close the door and go back in.
Yeah. So basically, he gets killed.
Yeah, but he calls
Unfortunately,
it like on
so
the
does
nose,
his dog.
Cujo. His dog's name is Cujo.
No, Jojo. His dog's name's Jojo.
Is it Jojo? I was just projecting that. Then I just kept. I was already deep into an eye roll after the first time of mishearing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have. I'd have appreciated that a bit more, to be honest. It just like really lean into how low rent this episode is. But yeah, Jojo cops it, which is, one of the first rules in filmmaking is you don't kill the dog. You don't kill the children, and you don't kill the dog. But if you're going to kill one over the other, the kid has to. Except you never kill the dog.
Has to kill the dog. Yeah, exactly. It's a cage fight, right? I'm 100% with you. Put a dog and a kid in a cage and let them fight it out. Remember that was Brian that said that? Just like.
Yeah. Anyway, the dog cops it, and then obviously the guy does. Just after. So Mulder and Scully arrive at the ship. They talk to a sheriff who tells them that the dog is long gone. There's a nice little bit there where Mulder's like, "How can you be sure?" And he's like, "You ever own a dog, sir?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Right.
Like, you ever leave it inside one time and ever take it out to the loo? But so.
Yeah. So this guy, I didn't take him as a sheriff because I think they mentioned it's like, is it Fish and Game or something like that? So I think is he not supposed to? Yeah, I think he's supposed to be like for lack of a better term, an animal cop. Like
it's even worse. This is even worse. No, because they've got guns. Surely that can't be true. Surely
I don't know.
Oh no,
because I didn't take him as a proper police officer. All the way through my notes, he's just down here as animal cop.
I mean, in America, they have so many different divisions of law enforcement. Because
I think
it's
animal, fish and game. I think that's the department because they mention it at some point.
Right. Because even sheriffs aren't there.
Yeah, I was hoping
sheriffs aren't like PD.
Be like, you have the right to sit, roll over, beg.
Yeah.
Because it just the whole idea of it was just ridiculous. But I'm sure it's that.
Yeah. Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I know they I'm just going to completely show my ignorance here, but like sheriff's department, they're not exactly the same thing as the police department, are they? That's like if you look at say New York PD or somewhere like that, that's not the same thing as having a sheriff. Sheriffs do a different form of policing because they kind of get elected into like a district kind of thing. They have all the same powers as police officers and whatnot, but it's a different way of doing law enforcement from what I understand. I've
got limited. I mean, I've done some research on the subject matter, basically Walking Tall and China O'Brien, and my point of view is that yes, that is the process, Brian. Usually there's some kind of like dodgy businessman as well in the mix somewhere who's trying to turn it down into something or other.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's almost like a mayoral position. It's just,
yeah.
Okay. So they talk to the sheriff. There's a nice little thing there where Mulder gives a look about the dog. Obviously, they've not found any dog feces around, so clearly the dog's done a bonk. But it's then that we get introduced to cryptozoologist Dr. Detweiler, who is a recognizable actor. What?
He's just wrong right from the start.
I was going to say is a recognizable actor. Is this the dude from, wasn't he in Hellraiser?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Hellraiser, and he's been in like Star Trek as well. Done a lot of stuff in Star Trek, and I've seen him in a lot of Andrew something. Andrew, I want to say something. I can't remember his second
Robinson.
name, but Robinson.
Do
Yeah,
do
that's
you
it.
know?
Andrew
Do you
Robinson.
know his Do you know his biggest role, Brian?
It was in one of the Dirty Harry films, wasn't it?
He was Scorpio in the first Dirty Harry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah. I
guy
remember.
that gets beat
Yeah,
up and stuff. But yeah. So every time I see
yeah,
him, I
yeah.
just
That's it.
think of that.
Yeah, so Detweiler asks them who he needs to speak to about the theft of the animal. Then a police officer tells them there's been a dog attack in Bellflower. So, yeah, nice convenient timing, because we have both the sheriff slash animal cop. We've got Detweiler, and we've got Mulder and Scully all in the one place, just as someone comes in to tell them a vital key piece of information. So the victim is a customs officer, it turns out, not a security guard. It's a customs officer named James Conroy. Scully suggests Conroy is the one who stole the dog, but Mulder suggests the dog is intelligent, as it got out of the house after it was locked. Scully suggests they should speak to an expert.
Yeah. Cue Karen. Can I speak to your manager? It's all sorts of Karen vibes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, big Karen vibes. So we have a scene which is kind of totally perfunctory, because it's like we come into the Berquist kennels. Mulder and Scully want to speak to this woman called Karen, but the woman they speak to, assuming is Karen, isn't Karen. So she says, I'll go off and find Karen. And then she comes back and says, Karen, just go in the office and Karen will be with you shortly. And it's like, what? Why do we need any of this?
I'll tell you why we need this, Brian. Just to highlight how terrible this woman is. We get all sunshine and rainbows outside here, who's a great character who we never see again for a brief 30 seconds. And then we go to like the human equivalent of Eeyore.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, you know what I mean? They could have. I get that they want to draw attention to the fact that this woman is, an isolationist. She's not a people person. She kind of hides away and stuff. So surely that point would have been better made by actually not having a member of staff on site, but rather having all kinds of security on the door and a bell that they have to ring, or a speaker with which to speak through to her or something. Surely that would have been better. Have Scully talk to her first over the comms. She's very non-communicative, isn't interested. And then all of a sudden, she finds out Mulder is there. You get buzzed in. That tells us something right off the bat. Then we don't have this character introduced, never to be seen again, that shows us that this woman does actually have people in her life. I feel like the way I just wrote it would have been a much better way of showing you, one, that she's a recluse, and two, something about Mulder invites them in. So
this character Karen, she's not Dr. Bambi. Let's just put it that way.
Oh man. So it turns out Mulder knows Karen, but has never met her. She even has an I want to believe poster on her wall. They ask her a couple of questions about dogs, hunting patterns, or something. She just says that dogs are intelligent, but murder is a purely human thing. And then she gets up and off she goes. And I kind of sit there thinking, What did we actually get from her that was worth going to see her for?
Yep.
Like, did she give them any information that Mulder hasn't already said?
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's also one of the dullest character introductions that I think I've ever had. Like, I was like, please let this be the one and done for this character. She is horrid.
She just kind of mopes in, doesn't she? She's just like I mean, your analogy to Eeyore is the best I can think. She's just like, hello.
Yeah.
I've got no friends. It's not the best way to endear us to this woman or make us sympathise with us. And the fact that we get moments throughout this episode where Scully seems to exhibit jealousy over the connection that Mulder had to this woman is just sheer ludicrousness.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So but yeah, the main basis of this scene is to show us that it's this woman who got Mulder involved in the case, and he and her have been communicating on a semi-regular basis, on a purely professional level on the internet. And once you see this woman and listen to this woman, you totally get that, yes, it is purely professional, and that's that. But apparently not Scully. So the deputy pulls over to search an alleyway. He finds a hand. He sees a dog. He follows the dog into a building. And then we get what is actually quite a nice special effect, where the silhouette of a man comes through the steam and then kind of starts to crouch down and turns into a dog. It was really nice. I liked that effect. That just the changing of it just looked really good without us really seeing anything. It's just, you feel like you saw something particularly special, but you actually saw nothing at all. It was quite effective. Gotta be said.
Yeah, I loved that section. I thought it was great, although it did give me flashbacks to Shapes, because they figured they were maybe heading in that direction. The werewolf one.
Okay. Yeah, the season 1 episode. Yeah. Okay,
which wasn't great either.
It's better than this one though. Oh man. So, although was it? Now that you've said that, I'm thinking about it, and then I'm like, oh man, it's all the Native American kind of. Yeah. It wasn't great, was it? It was like stereotypes and horrible stereotypes and so. Yeah. All right. Anyway, the dog attacks the deputy. Boom. He's dead.
Yep.
So, moments later, we're at the crime scene, and the sheriff / animal cop is really pissed over losing a good man. Karen rocks up, says she's here to help. Mulder explains the situation. She says it's highly unlikely a dog would kill for sport. Well, thanks for that, Karen. Then Detweiler comes over to them. She says there's no evidence to suggest it was his animal that attacked. Karen asks him if he admires it. He says he admires the way it survives. She doesn't like him, seemingly, walks off to look for herself, and he calls her a strange bird. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. I was riveted to this, because I'm thinking, something's bound to happen here. We're not just getting this sparkling interplay out of nowhere. Like, you could tell the screenwriter spent seconds on this.
At least 5. Come on, at least 5 seconds. That's how long it takes to put pen to paper. Oh man, yeah. It just like they're trying to set up this kind of dueling ideologies between Detweiler and Karen. Like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Another classic episode, Fearful Symmetry, when when you had the when you had the woman who's like really protective of the gorillas, and like he's just like, oh, two guesses who's behind this. You had there's a guy in that, and it's like, and the two of them were at like proper loggerheads, and it's like, ooh, I wonder who it could be. It's just okay. Is this attempt to try and...
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's just a complete miscasting on this one?
Are you thinking purely in terms of Karen?
Yes. Like if Karen had come in and it was someone who, because of their illness, they kind of are away from society, but they're still trying to be like big and out there and they want to interact. They just can't be out in public, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, so somebody, this is like a rare treat where she can like really like get that social.
Yeah. Like I certainly wouldn't blame Robinson because he is a good actor. I've seen him in things. He's good. He's not terrible in this. He's lumbered with a not great script, and he's lumbered with a character he's got to play against that clearly ain't doing it for me. But yeah, I think if they'd have pulled in an actor who could give this woman some quirks, some kind of some like, she needs to have a presence about her that says, there's a certain sense of charisma there, even though she's isolated herself. And I think there are plenty of actors who've proven they can do that in similar roles and whatnot. Like you look at Sigourney Weaver in Copycat, where she's confined herself to the house. She won't go out because she doesn't like, she's got agoraphobia. So if you get an actor with that kind of range who can actually bring something to the character, rather than, oh, this is a character who doesn't like people, she only likes animals, therefore I'm just gonna walk and be completely expressionless and be very monotone in the way that I talk, as if I'm like this scared little kitten of everything, and it's just it sucks the energy out of the room. It really literally kills any and all attempts at energy.
She's like an entertainment black hole. Whenever she appears, it just sucks all the fun out of the thing.
Pretty much. So the sheriff / animal cop is on the radio saying he's going to... he's saying go to live rounds. I'm going to live rounds. I'm not using tranks. And it's... I mean, fair play to the guy, I think I would as well. Detweiler creeps up behind him. And he says, if you kill that dog, I'll kill you. Now, I'm sorry, but you've literally just threatened to kill a member of law enforcement. Like Paul Blart, animal cop. So, look, this guy's wearing what to me looks like a sheriff's badge. I'm sure he's part of the police department. He seems to have certain powers. They're at a crime scene in which there has been a killed, a killed human being. So I'm going to assume that this guy has the power to arrest people, and if you threaten to kill right to their face, if you say, I will kill you, if you do this, I will kill you, then that is a threat upon law enforcement, not just of violence, but to actually take their life. And that is an offence. That is a criminal offence. And you could just arrest that guy on the spot.
Which it feels odd when you're watching it at the time. But the funny thing about it is if the Paul Blart animal cop does actually kill the dog, then he's perfectly safe because he's killing that guy as well.
So it's basically an empty threat. It's like, if you kill that dog, I'll kill you. No, if I kill that dog, you're dead. So you can't do it. So good call. Karen found paw prints. She says it has an extra paw pad. Scully seems to get, I can't read my own handwriting, randomly, that says.
No,
she gets
Mulder.
randomly jealous. Yeah.
She's on the computer, and then Mulder leans over and double clicks her mouse.
Yeah.
And you can just see kind of
double
Scully's
clicks
like,
yeah. So, it's a step too far, that is. She gets randomly jealous because Mulder touches the computer mouse while Karen is still holding it. It's like, you feel the sparks between Mulder and Karen. There's so much energy honestly, and electricity between them.
It felt like the clay scene in Ghost here, like, to be honest.
I would go so far. I have to go so far to say Mulder has more chemistry with Diana Fowley than he does with this woman. And that's really saying something, because I actually don't think him and Diana have that much chemistry.
I think he's got more chemistry with Frohickey.
That's an insult to Frohickey. The two of them have got quite a lot of chemistry. So she gets antagonistic towards Karen for changing her statements on the canid, as she calls it. And then she exits. So she gets all like, and you can see it's all coming from this place of jealousy, which no X-Files fan worth a salt would actually buy into. Yeah. Mulder gets in the car. Scully suggests that Karen has only come out because she's enamored with Mulder. She says, don't underestimate women. They can be tricksters too, which is just...
Yeah.
A line of dialogue like that coming from Scully's mouth, it's cringe. So cringe. It makes her seem like a schoolgirl. Like this school
it's
kid
what
antics.
It's what happens when you let like the trainee write a little scene, or like the work experience kid. On you go, write a scene, have at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just it's clumsy, and it's awful, and it just like, this whole jealousy aspect is just trite. It's rubbish.
Like that line would work, and Scully's jealousy would work if that Karen was Bambi from War of Suffrages. Like if that was Bambi, you'd see that as a threat.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's Karen.
Yeah.
Is this sorry, but
the person with no personality.
Yeah. Totally. So Detweiler goes to a vet to source some tranquilizer. He gets barked at by a dog, St. Bernard. And the vet asks if he's looking... Cujo, yeah. Nice little Cujo reference. He gets barked at by the St. Bernard. The vet asks if he's looking for the animal around here that's been attacking people. And Detweiler says, I'm afraid we are. Which, makes the vet look a little bit fearful and all that. But, yeah. We then cut to the vet is attacked by a dog but gets free. So he's locking up at night. He's kind of like shouts to his receptionist, you lock up the front, I'll lock up the back. And he goes into the back room where all the dogs are. And I like this. There's a nice little moment where he's like, good night, such and such. Good night, such. So he knows all the dogs' names, and we can see that he's a nice vet. He takes his job seriously. He's not putting on a show for anyone because he's alone in there and he's saying goodnight to the dogs. That's nice. And then he gets attacked, but he just gets out the door before the dog can do anything. And he
which was good to see, because we've seen so many of these sequences where people are chased down and caught. So actually seeing somebody get away was nice for a change.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean that's because it's necessary to for the story. But but yeah, it's nice. So the police arrive, and
Yeah.
Paul Blart, animal cop, goes in and shoots the first thing that moves, basically.
This reminded me of a movie, Brian. It reminded me of, do you know the sequence in Pulp Fiction where the guy bursts out the bathroom and starts shooting at Jules and Vincent? Like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it's like, I swear he opens the door and then literally just starts shooting.
Yeah. Now, to countermand your last point where you're like the vet's a good guy and he's saying goodbye to the dogs and all that, he walks in and he's like, that's the wrong dog.
Yeah, he doesn't look overly.
Nope.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not a dog that is supposed to be on his watch, though. That's the thing, because obviously it's changed. So this.
But it's the St. Bernard, is it not? Does it not change into the St. Bernard?
Yeah, but it is the St. Bernard, but the St. Bernard was being taken away by its owner.
Right.
So he'd already looked after it, and it's been taken off the premises by the owner. So, because he drops a line later that he must have gotten loose and come back around the back, like, which begs the question: where the hell's the owner? Sure, the owner should be floating around there somewhere. But yeah. So clearly, this dude is a shapeshifter who doesn't just turn into one particular dog; he can turn into any dog.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Fine. Okay. It's all getting a bit like piecemeal now. It's like, we're going to pick and choose little bits and bobs. Whatever works for the story. If it can get us out of this plot point, fine.
It's a cool little transition moment where you see him changing from the dead dog into the other dog, but then you just realise that this dog is just playing dead. And you're like, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great.
But it also begs the question, was he actually shot?
Yeah, that's what I couldn't get my head round. I couldn't understand that. Is it impervious to bullets?
But it's just like, just because you like if you're shot as this other dog, just because you change back to your other dog self, that doesn't remove the bullet that's lodged in your back leg or wherever it is you've been shot. And I'm pretty sure the vet would have given this thing the once over before just leaving it there on the table. And I don't know.
Does it lead to
all
the question
feels a bit hokey to me.
Yeah, does that mean like the only thing that can kill this dog is diseased blood?
Or fence
lupus
spikes?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it the fact that the woman's got lupus and she allows herself to be killed that kills the dog, or what? Because it's never explained, does it? Like
no. This guy's clearly taken out at the end. Not to spoil it, but by a fence post. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So Mulder and Scully arrive, and the sheriff explains his gaffe to Mulder, while the vet patches Duke up. So this is the thing. So the vet is patching Duke up. So Duke has been shot. This dog has been shot. It does have a bullet in it. He says he'll be all right, and wonders how he got back in. So that's the comment I was on about. Is that cleans him up and he's like, but I do wonder how he got back in. And then we have ominous close up on the dog, which it was. Like the vet leaves and then the camera moves in on the St. Bernard's face, and it's almost like the St. Bernard is going to start twirling its mustache if it had one. It's just Scully sees a picture of Karen on the vet's wall with the words, "To my best friend," written on it. She hears a scream and she goes to check. She finds Duke still resting after the vet had patched him up, but the vet is dead on the floor. Mulder comes in. Now this pisses me off. This is just like the FBI work here from our lovely agents is just shocking. Yeah. So they come, they find the dead body, and they both leave.
Yeah.
Don't even check on him. They literally don't even do a proper check on him. It's just like, oh no, he's been mauled. He's dead. Right, I'm gonna go and call someone. You're a medic. You're gonna call someone. Get your ass on the floor and give him the once over. Scully runs off to call someone. Mulder runs off to do something else. Also, that we can leave the St. Bernard there on the table to change into a different dog. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, it's just that it's a contrivance to get them out of the place. You know, it's pointless.
Right. Okay. So, Scully confronts Karen and says that she has a skin disease called lupus, and that she doesn't believe there's a dog attacking people. Karen, that is. Scully thinks that Karen doesn't believe there's a dog attacking people. She's just using it to get close to Mulder. You know, I'd just be like, yeah, good luck with that. Have at it. Take your best shot. Mulder calls Officer Khan to tell him he's found evidence that Detweiler was at the vet's to order tranquilizer. Khan says he'll be there in 15 minutes, but is then attacked by the dog, obviously. Mulder goes to the hospital and finds Detweiler at Khan's bedside. Detweiler says he's there to get a description of the animal. Mulder calls him out on his BS and accuses him of being a werewolf. Says he even tried tranking himself to stop the killing, but it didn't work. So, yeah, it's just... If this was like your top tier kind of episode, this would be one of them scenes that actually has impact, where you're like, yeah, it's Mulder, go for it. You know, where he just calls people out. What was he? There was a recent episode where he did that with someone. I can't remember which one it was.
Where he called somebody out.
Oh, it was the demon one with Bill Campbell.
Oh,
if you remember. Yeah, he basically just he's like,
is it?
He keeps just like
terms of endearment.
Yeah. Where he's just, you know, he's like dropping like proper. It's barely even hints. He may as well just be like full on comments. But where he's like literally, essentially saying to his face, "I know what you are. You're a demon." And in that episode, it was really entertaining because the episode overall was actually pretty decent. And so those moments work really well in those kind of episodes. He's like, yeah, there's my boy Mulder, go Mulder. Whereas here it hits like a lead weight, because who cares, basically.
Yeah,
it's like, if we don't care, then we don't care that Mulder cares. So Detweiler runs into Karen in the hallway. She says she won't protect him anymore. Mulder sees them standing together before Karen decides to leave. It's like, okay, so they know each other. Oh, now I'm so intrigued. I want to find out more about their relationship. It's like, I didn't see this coming. I didn't expect that they would know each other. I thought the first time they saw each other was in that, you know, at that crime scene. The fact that they've got a history there, it's like, now I'm just
uninterested.
So, yeah. Mulder goes to see Karen, says he thinks she lied to him. She says she was mostly lying to herself. First, about her feelings for Mulder, and second, that she could catch Detweiler's dog alive and not have to put it down. Mulder asks who it would most likely attack next. She says it will go to finish the job on Carnes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. She knows what she's doing.
Again, yeah. If this was Bambi, you could see Mulder being caught between a rock and a hard place. It's like, damn, she's hot. I get on with her. She's got similar interests. It's like, but there's just no personality there. So when she's talking about her we should feel sorry for her. That's the thing. When she's talking about how she has feelings for Mulder, but she knows that they're never going to come to anything, we should feel bad for her in that scene.
Should do,
like that,
but we don't.
The fact that we don't just shows you that it ain't working. They're not pulling it off. So Mulder gets to the hospital. Scully is pissed that she was pulled off surveilling Detweiler. He tells her his werewolf theory. Scully does not look impressed, as usual. Says Karen is only interested in him. Then steals his magazine, which is the best bit of the entire episode, quite frankly.
It is. I thought that's
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great moment, and it's like a great bit of direction, just type of like that. It tells you everything. She's annoyed. He thinks he's going to just relax and read this and kill some time. She's like, no, no entertainment for you. You're going to sit there and be bored. It's great.
Texie's magazine is like it could be a magazine that she just don't even like, but she's taking it just to make a point. Which is So Karen puts her dogs away in cages. Think about that for a minute. Does this character, with everything she's about, everything she's said, strike you as the kind of person who would lock her dogs up in cages at night?
Nope. But then she knows what's coming.
Okay. Yeah. Just, I don't know, just looks like a regular routine kind of thing to me, but yeah. I'll let that one slide. Could be a one-off. So Mulder wakes Scully, says Detweiler ain't coming, and that Karen lied to him. It's like, no doodah. It's like, well done for catching up, Mulder. You got there in the end. Well done. Karen goes upstairs and loads her tranq gun. Mulder calls her to say he knows what she's doing, but she leaves the phone off the hook. When she comes face to face with the animal, she puts the gun down and lets it go for her. Mulder and Scully find Karen and Detweiler dead. So he's impaled on a fence post. She gets a prettier death. She's just lay there on the floor.
So what is she thinking? Why load the gun with a tranquilizer?
I think it's a commentary on who she is, isn't it, as a character? The fact that in the end she holds to her moral code. She loves animals more than she loves people. And as much as she knows that this dog, this animal, this werewolf thing, whatever it is, has to die, she's also adamant that it's a one-of-a-kind and she doesn't have the right to kill it. So she would rather die than put a bullet in it. But conveniently, it attacks her. They go out of a window and he impales himself on a fence post. Something that there was no way she could have predicted. I don't buy for a second that was planned on her part. That was just good luck. But I think it's supposed to be a whole statement about how she's the animal rights person and she dies for her beliefs, and
Yeah, but she had a tranq gun. It wasn't going to kill the animal.
No, I think it was because I don't think it was just put you to sleep kind of drugs in there, because she said, because a couple of scenes ago she alluded to the fact that she knew because she said there was two things that she was lying to herself about. One was the fact that she could ever have a relationship with Mulder, and two was the fact that she could ever bring this thing in alive. In other words, she knows that she has to kill it. So I think that, what is it? Obviously, she's an animal person, so the only gun she's going to have on site is a trank gun. But they do have darts for those things that kill the animal rather than just put them to sleep. But I'm with you. It's not effectively communicated. Not effectively enough, anyway. It leaves you with a maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Did she change her mind? I don't know. But I think ultimately it's meant to be this statement about how, yeah, she stuck to her principles, even though she died for them, but no one cares because we didn't really like her. But okay. Last scene, Scully gives Mulder some words of comfort, along with Karen's I want to believe poster. So basically this entire episode was all geared towards getting Mulder his I want to believe poster back, when he could have just gone on Amazon and bought another one.
Yeah. Anywho, right, I'll wrap this one up quickly, Brian. Boring, uninteresting, with one of the worst characters I have ever seen in my life. It's not the worst episode ever. No. It's not as bad as some of the other ones. I could tolerate watching this again if I had to. Some of the other ones are tremendously bad. I don't have too much to say about it. I did have one score in mind. I've lowered it throughout our talking about it, and I'm going to go for a lofty 2.5 on this episode.
Oh, see, yeah, I've done the exact same as you, but I started with a 2.5, and in my discussion of it, I've gone down to a 2. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with a 2.5, actually, which was my original score. I think, like you said, it is one I could watch again if I was doing a run through. There are certain episodes where even if I'm doing through a run through, I ain't putting X0616 Day on. I'm just not. I'm not putting space on. I'm just not. Whereas there's some episodes I'll put on for a laugh, like Roland, because if I watch that episode, I'll remember our discussion on it and I'll get a real kick out of that. This one, it's I wouldn't say it's dull to the point of depression. It's just bland. It feels like a season 1 episode, and like a middle of the road season 1 episode.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like. And the plot of it would have worked better in season 1 because the whole jealousy angle with Scully would have actually had some substance to it. But 6 seasons in, with a character we've never heard of before, it's got no substance to it. So yeah, it's bland. It's got some nice ideas out there, but they've not thought them through properly. They've just said, okay, look, we've got a story. Let's give it to Writer of the Week. They can bash that one out. This will be a cheap episode just to fill the quota, and that's essentially what it feels like. So 2.5 from both of us.
Okay, tell me a bit about Trevor.
Trevor. Now, I can't tell you anything about Trevor because we're into that territory now on season 6 where I can't. So I mix up. There's 2 episodes I just completely mix up, which is Trevor and Milagro. Right. I can never remember which one is which. But I always think that Trevor is the one that's got guest star. Is it John Hawkes? Jonathan Hawkes?
John Hawkes, yeah.
I think John Hawkes. But I don't think it is. I think he's in Milagro. I can never remember. This whole patch of episodes that we're getting into, this is where my memory starts getting hazy and starts doing things where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not sure. So again, Trevor, off the top of my head, honestly couldn't tell you. Honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay.
Which is, yeah.
I don't know if that's worrying or not. But I
Yeah.
guess we'll find out next week. So remember to join us when we discuss Trevor, the unknown entity. If you don't mind, if you like to give us a review on whatever podcast service you listen to, or a like on YouTube if you're watching us on here, which is great as well. And don't forget to join us next time for Trevor. Bye.